Good evening, everybody. It's Yankee Wally here. It's coming up to 2 a.m. in the morning, Sunday the 21st of July. I think it's a bank holiday this weekend, so we've got Monday off. The banks are closed. It doesn't make any difference to me because I don't work, but I put this up the other day, and, I'm thinking all the time about liars, and why is it that when I catch somebody out lying, I never trust them again? Have a listen to this now.
In the Oprah interview, you accuse members of your family of racism. You don't even...
No, we don't. The British press said that.
Right.
Did Meghan ever mention they're racist?
She said there were troubling comments about
There was concern about his skin colour.
Right. Wouldn't you describe that as essentially racist?
I wouldn't.
In the
He's so quick to answer, wasn't he? He obviously was expecting that question, but to flip it off and blame the British press, why doesn't he sue the British press for saying racist things then? Or has he already got enough court cases on his hands? I heard the other day, I'm trying to remember the number, it's into double figures, maybe 10, something like that, court cases he's got on at the moment. I can't even keep up with them. I can't. And I don't even think you want to either. We just want to know at the end, did he win or lose? And the way things are looking, he's never going to get that special security that he wants. And yet him and Meghan will go walking through car parks in Montecito, sniffing apples at the farmer's market, walking through a car park without a care in the world. And they've got guns in America. Not saying it's wrong, that's another issue. But she seems to think that Britain is more dangerous than America. Well, maybe it is for you, Meghan, but it's okay for everyone else. I mean, she's afraid of flying tomatoes, I think. Somebody said to me the other day, or they mentioned canned tomatoes. I thought, oh, that's a bit cruel. Anyway, Harry's lies and Meghan's lies. I've been listening to the latest news now about Meghan, and I think it was Angela Levin said that she's neurotic and paranoid. Well, and that's on a good day, I dare say. But can you imagine her life right now and Harry's life? Would you really want their life? Would you? Okay, you can have the mansion, you can have the income. They'll move out with their 2 kids, or their 2 dolls, or whatever it is. Would you really want that life? I think anybody that said yes would probably be a real estate developer who'd sell the house and then move on. I couldn't live Meghan's life. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I would actually be beating myself up. But then again, I care. I care about what I say to people. I worry I worry terrible sometimes that, did they read that the wrong way, or did I say that wrong? I mean, I sent a message to Fiona's husband tonight because I went on to Foxy's live show. Foxy is a friend of Graham's, Fiona's husband, avid gardener. And I said, sorry I had to dash off in the middle of the live. And I said a few things, and then I said, anyway, speak to you later, babe. And I clicked off. It was a voicemail. And then I thought, what did I say that for? What the hell was I thinking? And then I thought, I know, I always talk to girls or women. And I say, babe, darling, sweetheart, my pretty. So I texted him. I just sent him a straight. I said, I didn't mean babe, I meant mate. And he said something funny back, but it's just that it's just the way I am. I like to sort of be polite to people. Meghan doesn't give a damn about anybody. Anyway, what have we got to talk about tonight? Oh, dear me. I think now, let me have a look. Oh, yeah, I tell you what. Right, in Leeds. I don't know if any of you know Leeds. Most of the Brits do, but we had it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'll tell you how it broke out, right? Let me just, Leeds riots, let's do it. And you'd think this was a Middle East country. Leeds riots, there you go. Hare Hill riot 2024. Look what they did. And the worst part is, you see, is that they turned a police car over and they were encouraging their children to throw stones and all sorts of things at the police car. Now, you remember when you were young, I don't know, even now, I got respect for the police. I would never talk back to a police officer. Even when I had the parlour, I'd never do it. I couldn't. Because they are upholding the law. If they didn't do it right, obviously, I'd have a solicitor talk to them. But anyway, they were in Leeds, and oh, that's cheap, isn't it? Anyhow, where is this? Arrest me. Well, I'll tell you how it happened. Let me just show you these pictures. There's the police car going over, and there's a man charged after a bus. 2 buses were set on fire. This is unbelievable. It really is. To me, it is unbelievable. This is today now. There were 2 double-decker buses set alight, and when they got to the petrol, the damn things exploded. A double-decker, a big bus, you know them. And a police car was turned over, and it was like a free-for-all. And then, of course, what comes next? The looting. They go into the shops then. There was fridges strewn all over the street. They see that as a chance then to go stealing. Now, apparently, in this particular area of Leeds, there's Bangladeshis, Somalians, well, you name it, all the immigrants that have come over. There's a little corner of every one of them there. And apparently there was a family of 5 children and the mother and father living, and they were Romanis. Now, Romanis, Irish gypsies are from Ireland, and Romani gypsies are from Romania. So they're from Romania. We got a lot of Romanians here, and some of them are all right. Some of them are fine. But if they've integrated, but if they're not integrated and they bring their family over, they carry on in their own sweet way with no respect whatsoever for our laws, yet they want protection when it suits them. Oh, I tell you what, hang on, let me just blow my... Oh, not again. Good job I only bought 10 of those tablets that I was excited about. They're not going to work. I still got the nasal drip. I know what it is, though. It's the dust in this place. Anyway, what's happening here? And it's quite a simple problem. I had an argument with my nephew around about when I used to go on Facebook. Whoa, that was before I even went on Twitter. I'd say about 2015. And it was when Angela Merkel was letting in all those people into Germany, and then they were going through Germany and up to Sweden. And just my instincts, I just said, and it was on Facebook it was, I said, that's not going to end well at all. And my nephew said, what do you know? And something, don't be so uncharitable, and, you know, all the usual sayings that the young woke people say. I often wonder now, although I'd never bring it up, if he ever regrets saying that, or if he ever saw the other side of the coin. Because what's happened, they got more knife crime in Sweden now than anywhere else in the world. Well, Sweden was never a dangerous country. It was safe. It was lovely, Sweden, and now it's not. And we are losing our grip on UK. And I hate to be, I hate to be the bringer of bad news, but we are losing our grip on UK, because we got these little pockets of people that integrate with each other but don't want to integrate with the Brits. They want the benefits. They know that they can get an employment benefit and they can get a free house. Well, once they've got some money and a house, then they go working for each other, building mosques or helping, you know, and they say they don't get paid. So you'll get them building all sorts of things for themselves. And and claiming benefits from this is generally speaking. And these Romanies, anyway, there was a family of 5 children and 2 adults. And apparently, I don't know how it happened, but one of the baby, the youngsters, was dropped out of a window. I don't know, it might have been a downstairs window, an upstairs window, but somebody called the police or somebody called the social services. They didn't just turn up there without having a call. And they found the situation to be so serious that they took the little baby and they took the 4 kids as well. That's what happened. You live in our country, those are our rules. We protect the children first. I know they get it wrong a lot of the time. Maybe they've got it wrong this time. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Leaving children with their parents is, if you're in any doubt, is never a good thing. Take them away and then sort it out. Get them safe. And that's what they did. Anyway, the whole shebang then. The Romanians, the Bangladeshis, they just all went berserk. Started by, and the police had to leave the scene because they didn't have enough resources to be able to fight them back. And his name was Lustin Dobra. Well, that's a nice British name, isn't it? 37. They were lucky they could find who it was. I don't know how they managed to do that. Must have done a bit of questioning. They wouldn't have any CCTVs around there. Another 5 people were arrested. Now, the way I see this is all those people that were arrested, if they get found guilty, deported straight away. Oh, you've got family here? Well, you've got one choice. You either leave them or they go too. It's the only way. Because at the moment, they're coming in here and they're telling us how to run our country. They are doing parades down London streets. And the reason I'm so invested in Australia and America and all the countries actually is because I know that Britain is a lot smaller than America and a lot smaller than Australia. And I know that we are maybe, I hate to say it, but we're probably 5 years ahead of you in our troubles. And of course now a lot of the immigrants are going over to Ireland. I think you might have heard that in the news. And the reason this is because Ireland is split into 2. Northern Ireland belongs or is with Great Britain, so is Scotland, Wales, England and Northern Ireland makes up the United Kingdom. Southern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, is an independent state, not particularly wealthy, but nevertheless, people can go into that part of Ireland. In fact, I can get a Southern Ireland passport because my father was Irish. My father's family was Irish. And then there's an open border policy then between the north and the south. So they go into the south as illegal immigrants or immigrants, whatever, get their papers and then go over to Northern Ireland and then come over to England or stay there. So they got away into England a lot easier if they go through Ireland. And of course, word travels fast. And they tell their mates. And then their mates come. And then when it comes time for their children to get married, they don't want them to marry a British bloke. They want somebody from back home. So they choose the weddings. And this is where they have these honour killings. Terrible things. Because they bring their daughter or set their children up to go to British schools to get a good education, which they get, and then university, all free for them. And then they want them to go back to Bangladesh or Pakistan and to marry somebody who's been arranged by their parents. Well, the child doesn't like it. And who can blame them? They don't even know who they're going to marry. And then once they get married, it's getting to the point where the weddings don't work out, And of course, he only wants to get married to her because he wants a ticket into England. So she's his ticket into England. And she knows that. And she's westernised and he isn't. He's in the country in India, which is, nothing like here. So it's a recipe for disaster. And then, of course, the minute that the marriage breaks down or the girl says, I'm not staying, she gets murdered. It's an honour killing. they've got to save face. There's so many honour killings. There's a lot we don't know about. They sometimes smooth talk them to going back to their home country, Bangladesh, Pakistan, for a holiday, and they kill them over there. That way it's a lot easier to get away with it. But there has been a lot of cases now where they come into court. But it's not the child's fault, because you can't take a child to another country and let them have the benefits that the country has to offer and then expect them to go back like 200 years and marry whoever you say. It must be shocking for the child. It must be terrible. I feel so sorry. I remember once, excuse me, when I had the parlour, I used to pick this girl up from downhill. She worked under the name of Debbie. And, she lived in a rough part of town. In fact, she had about 5 kids, and they were all black. But she was a pretty blonde. But, you've got to keep your mouth shut, haven't you? And I remember her boyfriend, his name was Shaka. And he was in prison. And these kids were lovely kids, mind. And she was pregnant with the youngest one, and she told me that she wanted to have an abortion. She couldn't have it because Shaka was in prison. I said, well, she couldn't drive. So I said, well, what do you want to do? She said, would you take me up to Birmingham to get it sorted out? I said, are you sure and all this? And I was so tired, I remember, because I'd been up all night with the night shift. Anyway, off we went to Birmingham, and it was out of the way. And I parked the car and I waited while she went into this place. And then she came out and she had this tablet, and she said, I've got to go back up now in a fortnight or I don't know, sometime. And then the next day she said, I didn't take the tablet. I'm not going to go through with it. I felt terrible then, because I was the one I took her up there, when really I should have said, you don't really want this, do you? You want to have this child. Anyway, he was born. His name was Jamal. She called him Jamal, my little prince, she used to call him. Well, you should have seen her house. What a state. But this one day, I got a friend who was a tiler. He used to tile floors. And her kitchen floor, was lino and bits of this and bits of that. And I said, Darren, can you tile this floor, and how much would it be? And we don't want expensive tiles, but we want good ones, washable ones. Anyway, did all her kitchen for her, and it didn't half look nice after. But that's how I was, that I'm just telling you that because she needed a bit of help. Anyway, we became really good friends. She wasn't just any old body. She was like a regular member of staff. She was in her early 30s, and she had a great big cyst on her eyelid. You know where you put the black liner if you put it on your inner eyelid, or white some people use. Well, she couldn't do that because she had this big, like a wart. And I said, she said, I didn't mention it, she mentioned it to me. And I said to her, Sue, when I was little, I had 2 of those on my neck. And my Auntie Mary got a hair from a dog, long hair. It might have been cotton. They told me it was the hair of a dog, but I think it was cotton. And she tied it tight around both of these. I got them on my neck, I did, 2 of them. And within a week, I said they dropped off. I was only young, I was maybe toddler. But I still got the marks now, and it looks like Dracula has sunk his teeth into my neck. Very faint, but they're there. I said, well, why don't we try tying a bit of cotton around it? No. She was scared. And so she said, well, I might go to hospital if you come with me. I said, of course I will. So anyway, that was a success. She had that removed, and I tell you what, she was grateful to me, but also she would have had it done herself eventually, I'm sure. Well, I don't think Shaka would have liked her to have it done because, he didn't want her to look pretty, that type of man he was. He was like a string of spaghetti with a great big head. And anyway, so she had that done, and all was good in the world. She was a beautiful looking girl. Anyway, Shaka was coming out of prison, and I used to go up and I used to sit with the kids and talk with her, because it was interesting to me to see how other people live, because I'd never seen really black people until I was an adult. I know it sounds terrible, doesn't it? And I loved these kids. I loved them. And she said Shaka's coming out of prison next week, and she'd put his picture up on the mantelpiece, like on top of a fire or something. And I'd never seen him before. And I took a look. I said, is that him? And she looked at me. She knew. She knew. She knew me. She said, yeah, right, what's the matter? I said, I'm not going to like him, am I? She said, no, not really. We had that understanding, you know. I loved her kids, but he wasn't a good man to her. He didn't treat her well. I mean, he shouldn't have been in prison. So anyway, after Shaka came out of prison, she, I think she still came to work down there. I think she did. But of course, I stopped going up the house then because I just didn't want to be part of that sort of, you know, nothing wrong with him. I'm sure he was a nice bloke, but she was too nice for him. That's what I say. But I don't know why I went on to that story then. But anyway, yes, so what was I talking about that for? So this rioting in Hare Hills it's nasty. And we've got a place in Cardiff called Ely, where I was watching a video about it yesterday or today on YouTube. The roughest places to live in Cardiff. And gosh, he found the dumps, this bloke did. He was looking for all the rubbish, he was. And I know that Caira, a place called Caira up on the top of Ely, is really rough. You know, it's where you go to buy drugs. And I remember once I was on a train, I think, and this guy was on a bus. This guy said, I've just come down from the valleys. He said, I'm going to Ely to get some drugs. He said, they charges me £10 each at my place, but I can get 3 for 20 quid if I go to Ely. I remember him saying it. Pleased as punch he was. There's a lot of drug dealing going on down there. And it's just like everywhere now, we're losing control. If somebody is born in Britain and they're brought up British and they follow our customs and they speak our language, they don't have to like the monarchy. They don't have to like anything. But they've got to follow the rules. And if they're not prepared to follow the rules, they pelted the police officers with rocks and bottles, and that was the kids doing that. I've never known anything like it, and it's quite upsetting. On top of that, I've been listening to all the assassination of President Trump, and one of Meghan Markle's friends, Amanda Seales, she's on Instagram. She apparently did a podcast on one of Meghan's archetype podcasts. So she is one of her friends. She said it was all a setup, that it was theatrical blood pellets, and it was all well acted. And the sound of the gunfire was just a popcorn machine under the microphone. All sorts of stuff. I don't think so. I can't think like that. But I do think one thing I'm pretty sure of is that he did not act alone. There's no way that kid would have acted alone. Obviously, the police are in there now questioning the parents. The FBI are investigating the Secret Service because the Secret Service are not allowed to investigate themselves. And yet the FBI, for some reason, have done a lot of faux pas lately and a lot of dodgy dealings, so they can't be totally trusted. So it's a case of, what a mess. What a bloody mess. Regardless now of who is going to win the election, whoever wins that election has really got to take a firm grip, because we are basically 5 years ahead of you in terms of immigration problems. There's nothing wrong with people coming to, I love cultural enrichment. I'm all for it. I've got a lot of friends with different cultures. My son-in-law is, you know, everybody that worked in the parlour. Gosh, we had all sorts in there. Every nationality under the sun, and they were all equal in my eyes. But they've got to be prepared to follow the laws of the land. And this situation where they are now kneeling down in the middle of a main street in London to do their, is it praying 5 times a day facing Mecca? They'll do it. They'll get their prayer mat and they'll do it in the street. Now, and I've had conversations with many Americans that they say, "Oh, prayer's up for you," and I'll say a prayer for you. And I'm really strange about that. Hold on, I've got a problem with my nose tonight. Yeah, I'm really flattered when people say, "I'll pray for you," and they do the praying hand emoji and things like that. But I can't say it back. I don't know why. I think it's because when I pray, I won't remember that I said it, so therefore I'm going to break my promise. And I'd like to know, all you Americans that say pray, do you really, when you say praying for, whatever, they may say it maybe more than once a day. Do you write it down on a little list so that when you go to bed, you kneel at the bed and you say your prayers and then you say, "Please God bless," and then you name the people? Do you keep your promise, or do you just say it as an act of compassion? Because I'm not quite sure, when people say, "Oh, I'll say a prayer for you," I think, will you really? Will you really? Because I can't say it back because I can't, I know I won't remember, and I don't want to break a promise. So, and I really only pray when, not when I want something, no, I wouldn't do that. When I need a bit of inner guidance, when I need to get my act together, or things, my mind is going a bit flippy, and then I pray. But I always say thank you for everything that I've got, because I know how lucky I am. But some people, they use the Lord's name, and maybe, I know I say, "Oh God," I know I say that, and I shouldn't, but that's on me. I do it, and I don't mean to take the Lord's name in vain, but I do. And but I still wouldn't say I'll say a prayer for you. If I said I'll say a prayer for you, I really would say the prayer. I just wondered, because anyway, these Islams, so people are saying to me now about when people die in hospital, and there was a program on YouTube about it, and one of the comments was, "I can't believe they didn't do any prayer. They didn't pray, and they didn't hold hands and pray." And I said, "No, they wouldn't. This praying is a very private thing. It's very private. In our country, it is. We wouldn't go blessing each other and offering to pray for each other on the street just like that. No. You do it in the quiet of your own home, maybe with your husband or with your child or something like that. But it's not the sort of thing anyone would do in hospital. I've never seen it done. And but it's different in America, I know, especially in the deep south where, God is everything, and that's lovely. Gosh, if it was like that over here, I don't think we'd have half as much furor as what we're going through at the moment, But at least I don't tell fibs about the praying, but I don't really offer to pray for anyone. And, I'm sorry if it sounds awful, that, doesn't it? But anyway, these Islams, they're kneeling down in the middle of London streets and they're doing their chanting. They have the big megaphones calling them to pray. Is it 5 times a day, 6 times a day? I don't know. God, starts at 5 a.m. I know that much. And once a year, they go on this walk to Mecca. 1,000 of them died this year on the Mecca walks. It was too hot. Apparently, some of them didn't buy tickets, and if you buy the tickets you get free bottles of water, and so they didn't have any water. Well, I know, why didn't somebody give them water? Why have they got to be made to pay? I mean, that's ridiculous. They should be giving people water rather than watching them die of dehydration or heat stroke. It's so, at the end of it, even the trip to Mecca is a money-making venture for somebody like TripAdvisor or Booking.com. It's not exactly a spiritual enlightenment if the people are dropping like flies because they can't afford any water. Dear me, it's terrible, isn't it? Religion does get me going sometimes, but having said that, there's a space for everyone. So we had that in Leeds over the Romanian social services incident. The next thing you know, we get another one in East London yesterday again, just as bad, but this time it was nothing to do with East London riots. Here it is. Police cars going over. Oh, for God's sake, stop it. Do you know, if you want something for nothing these days, they put you through hell, don't they? Just give me some pictures. Be so mean. There we are. And what it was is nothing to do with East London. It was because of a problem in Bangladesh. Some people died in Bangladesh. And it came all over to London and they had the riots. And it was over an incident to do with Bangladesh. There were 10 were killed in anti-government riots in Dhaka. And therefore, several hundred men or women took to the streets in East London. It's got nothing to do with London. That's awful, isn't it? 2 large groups of men were fighting in the street. So I think to myself, what's going to happen? Well, I'm not going to get miserable, and if it comes too close to my door, I've got to go. And I've always wanted to go, if anywhere, I suppose over to Ireland, because it's part of my heritage. Yeah, I'm 43%. No, I'm not. I don't know what I am. But I mean, I would really like to go somewhere else. I can't just sit around and watch. Somebody kicked the front door in the other night here. Now, it's a front door. You need a fob to get in, unless you know the code. And it's got a 1 glass panel that's all woven with metal. You know the sort, the strong glass. You can't see through it very well, but it's strong. And I think I know who it was, but there's no point me saying. And they just kicked the damn thing in because they didn't have their fob, probably. Put their hand through the door, then look and open the door. I don't know. I didn't even hear it. That's funny. But when they do come in and they open the door with a flourish, it bangs against my lounge wall and it goes through me. But anyway, they fixed it finally now. And then somebody kicked my gate in down the side the other day, and there's all sorts. It's getting rough in Cardiff, I got to be honest. It's not like it was. But then again, I never really took to Cardiff. Not really. It's never been the place where I've had my happiest moments. There's no way I can say it is. It's a rich city. It's got plenty of money, I can tell that. But it's not my homeland. You know, I'd like to go back up to Pontypool, up on the mountains up there. I'd just like to go up there, but I can't see that happening now. Anyway, what else was I going to tell you about now? Meghan Markle wants a confrontation with Prince Charles. Did you know that? She wants to talk. Did you? Here we are. Markle 2.0. It's ours. We paid for it. We don't care if you resign. We're keeping it. Look, someone's really mad about the dog bowl. Meghan Markle is 1 step away from confronting King Charles over the sabotage. She's not happy that King Charles is releasing new products around the time of her brand launch, claims source. Now, hang on a minute. Who was the one that on the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, what did she do? She did something. I know she did. She always does something when something big is happening over here. And I wouldn't think for 1 minute that Prince Charles even knew. Well, she hasn't launched anything yet, has she? She's given out 50 pots. Soft launch, she calls it. But the 50 pots she gave out are not to the general public. And besides that, jam is not a skill. there's nothing to it. It's one of the easiest things in the world to make. Pound of fruit and a pound of sugar. Every pound of fruit have a pound of sugar. Make sure you got the apple pecked in, or buy jam sugar. Simple. Oh, somebody was on X the other day and she showed me some pictures. I can't remember your name, but she said, I'm following your recipe and I'm making some jam. I just want to know, did it turn out okay? Because I said, take the apple peel out after. Yeah, because apples have got more pectin. That's the setting agent that sets it, you know. Anyway, what else have we got here? I don't think there's one. Yeah, a furious Meghan Markle wants to confront King Charles over his latest Highgrove launch, seemingly overshadowing the Duchess's own preserves. But Prince Harry is holding it back from a grisly confrontation. The Duchess of Sussex, 42, was earlier this year ridiculed as pretentious for soft launching a line of strawberry jams as the first project of her new lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. Honestly, thank you, Duchess of Sussex. Honestly, I actually feel sorry for the girl. She's only one step up from doing a garage sale, isn't she? Really. I mean, I don't think they've got any money left. They had 100 million from Netflix. They had about 30 million from Spotify. Harry had 20 million for his book. That's a lot of money, isn't it? 150 million. But of course, because she was buying bots, let's not forget the bot, shall we? Mr. Ian Sexton, bot farmer extraordinaire. You know the one. Oh, look at this. Here we go. Avid gardener. There we go. There's According to Taz and Faith at Lady Colin Campbell's summer ball. How lovely. How gorgeous is that? Fabulous. There we are. There's Faith on the left and our Taz on the right. Two gorgeous girls. Oh, with our daughter Lady Faith of Sealand. I know where Sealand is. Very funny. Lady C's summer ball. Oh, my goodness gracious me. Isn't that a lovely picture? Lovely. They look gorgeous. Oh, I'm so glad they met up. That's really nice. I hope Avid puts some more pictures out later. She's reposted mine. Oh, I love it. No, there's nothing much else coming on. No, there's nothing else. Oh, yeah, this guy on the right there, his name's Thomas. Oh, there's a nasty little whitehead he's got on his face there. Ooh, dear me. Only got train track braces. Well, not anymore, he hasn't, has he? He had somebody in the royal family lined up for the next... he had a list of people that he wanted to assassinate, and one of them was a member of the royal family. And who could that be, I wonder? I don't know. Oh, there's her Taz and her husband. Oh, there's lovely. Oh, what a beautiful dress, Taz. Oh, that's Ben and Taz. There's beautiful pictures. Oh, we were the first to see them. Oh, how lovely. Fabulous. There we are. Meghan has just finished wrapping up her new Netflix show, which celebrates, oh, here we go again, the joys of cooking, gardening, entertaining, and friendship. Her father's birthday was yesterday, and he's now an octogenarian because he's 80. That's what your 80s are when you're an octogenarian. I don't really know. I think I'm a sextarian. I'm 60s, 70s. I don't quite know, but anyway. It seems like she was happy to be back in the limelight. Meghan really enjoyed being back in front of the camera. It's such a shame she's such a bad actress, because I reckon she'd turn up for work early every day. She'd be a good timekeeper, but she really is a disgusting bad actress. Really is. I found a little politician. Oh yeah, Meghan and Harry on the Canuan Islands, where billionaires go to escape millionaires. This is Lubeg Windsor. The kids were just 3 and 1 at the time. Their romantic getaway was an extension to their overseas trip following Invictus and a spell in the UK prior to that. Weeks away from the kids who were just 3 and 1 at the time. I forgot about this. I refuse to believe that old Mother Raglan has given up her life to play full-time nanny. She was barely there for her own daughter, and that's a fact. She was missing for, I think it was 5, 6, 7, 8, a long time, years. I think she was in prison. Pics of Doria, a walking dog, shopping in Beverly Hills, or hanging out with the Kardashians. Oh, God. Oh, Doria. Can you imagine? Oh, dear. Who watches the kids then? With parents so frequently absent, who exactly is primary carer to Archie and Lily Sussex? Marcus, Ashley, Doria? Place your bets. I think it might be Ashley, I think Ashley might be the surrogate. That's what a couple of people have said. Not sure about Archie, but maybe Lilibet. I don't know, but there's so much question marks over it. I can't believe a word they say. And if she keeps wearing that stupid Panama hat, it doesn't suit her anyway. But, yeah, I don't believe a word she says. Yeah, after travelling for weeks without their children, they needed another getaway to try and save their fractured marriage. More evidence of surrogacy in my book. They simply do not have the loving, nurturing bond one would expect from natural parents. That's what it is. That's what it is. When you adopt children or you have a child by surrogate, I can't speak for myself because I've never... If I couldn't have children, I'll be honest, I would not adopt. And I very much doubt I'd use a surrogate either. I think I would just accept the fact that God didn't want me to have children. If I met and married someone who had children, well, that would be even better because then I'd be a stepmother and that would be good enough for me. It really would be. And because you see, if you adopt somebody, you don't know the genetics. You just don't know. And these days, it's getting too complicated to you can't even work it out. You don't know if somebody's mother or father was a murderer or had mental health issues. People have gone over to Romania and taken babies. They've needed homes and everything. But sometimes it's not always a match made in heaven, put it that way. And as far as a surrogacy is concerned, I don't think I would feel as though it was mine, even if it was mine. I wouldn't feel it. I would have to properly carry a child and give birth. And if somebody ever said to me, I can't seem to bond with my baby that my friend gave birth to for me, I would totally understand that. And probably even worse feelings can happen with adoption. I'm not saying it's always the case. Sometimes it's just very lucky. But all the people that I've ever met, mostly in the parlour, there was one in the parlour that I spoke to a long time, and it doesn't always work because for some reason they've got this longing to see their birth mothers or birth fathers, and it never quite works out. It just doesn't, and you can feel more alone than ever. Oh, I would hate that. I would hate that for the child as well. They don't have any kids, and we all know it. I don't know where those kids are. There they are. Okay, the child's just hanging around. People are taking the mickey. Charles has really I know he's very ill at the moment. I don't think Charles is coping with his chemo as well as we are led to believe. But at the same time, William, there's no flies on William. William's on the ball. I think William needs to say, look, it's time to... If Harry... What was I talking about? Their private security. They're not going to get that private security. It's not even... even Princess Anne doesn't have it, except if she goes on her, jobs in Britain. They want security to cover them all over the world. International Protected Person, IPP status, which means that if they ever hire a plane to go to, I don't know, the Maldives, the Bahamas, Bermuda, wherever, they don't have to go through customs. No wonder they want it. They can take all the drugs they can carry. They could go dealing, buying, moving drugs around. They could do anything because they won't have any customs. And that's just one of the bonuses. I mean, come on, we all like to think, it might only just be duty-free whiskey or a couple of extra cigarettes. But let's be honest, we'd all like to avoid customs at the best of times. I lost a lovely pair of hairdressing scissors once. I was on a flight to Cyprus. I said, can I collect them on the way back? And he said, no. I said, you're just taking my scissors? And he said, yes. And that was it. I lost a lovely pair of scissors. I still grieve those scissors to this day. Anyway, that's about it now. I'm sorry I've been missing. Longer I leave it, the longer it goes on. And it's my own fault because I talk myself out of it and I think, oh God, But I was trying to think of the stories of the parlour. And I can't remember now who I've talked to you about. Did I ever tell you about Safi the stripper? Did I ever tell you about Coco the black girl? Did I ever tell you about Beatrice from she was from Somalia and then she was in France and she came from there. I'm trying to get some new ones. I mean, I've got to just rack my brains and really think about things to remember them. But anyway, let me know if you want to hear any palace stories and I'll do them next time, okay? I've got to be so careful because I could go down any minute. You know what it's like. But thanks for listening. See you next time. Cheerio!